All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Before we get started, I do want to say a special shout out to the rest of my board here. The one evening I don't wear a sport jacket, they all dressed up. So I didn't get the memo. So anyway, let's have a little fun. If you would please silence your cell phones. Yeah, that includes you, Commissioner Goodger, please. Now we're full of bull this evening, aren't we? I am aware that we've got several folks who have another meeting later this evening, so I'll be trying to move this along fairly quickly if possible, unless we get tied up on a matter. We do have copies of our agenda up on the table up front, so if you don't have a copy and like one, we do have those readily available. So here we go. I hereby call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, November the 27th. I've actually got 4:31. It is a combined work session and called meeting, as well as we'll be conducting a public hearing in a few minutes. So here we go. If you would, please rise as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dean, since you did that, would you mind blessing these proceedings?
All
right. Thank you, Dean.
Please bow with me. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful day that we've been able to enjoy here in North Georgia. Thank you for our White County area and our White County commissioners and the work that they do here, and the staff as well. Ask your blessings on this meeting, that the decisions made will be for the uplifting of our community and for you too, Lord, as well. We ask you to go with us, lead, guide, and protect us in each and everything we do. And all these things we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Dean. All right, moving on to our agenda, item 4, consider adopting the minutes of the regular meeting, which was held November 6, 2017. Gentlemen, I hope you had an opportunity to review those minutes, and if so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Commissioner Bryant first, do I have a second? Commissioner Goodger second. Any discussion of the board, comments? Okay. Having none, all in favor of approving the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 5, conduct a public hearing of the land use application filed by Michael Scott Campbell to redistrict property located on Doc Dorsey Road from C1, which is Community Commercial District, to C2, which is Highway Business District. That is tax map and parcel 065-097, a total acreage of 1.50 acres. And Mr. Snell, our Economic Development, Mr. Sell, our Economic Development Director, give us a kind of a synopsis.
Okay, as you've heard, this is an application for Scott Campbell to change from C1 Community Commercial District to C2 Highway Business District. This is off of Doc Dorsey Road, off of 115. Total acres is 1.5 acres. The property adjoins A1 Agriculture Forest District to the south and C1 Community Commercial District to the north, east, and west. The White County Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map shows this area as single-family low density. The property is supplied by White County Water and Septic. The Planning Commission recommends approval of this change to C2, and basically it's going to be for the sales and installation of poultry equipment, and it fits into the C2 zoning district much better. So the Planning Commission did recommend to approve, and Mr. Campbell is here.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sell. Any questions for Mr. Sell this morning? Okay. All right. Mr. Campbell, if you would, give us kind of, we heard from Mr. Sell what you're doing, kind of give us what your plans are, what you're going to do. You know, we try to be informal here, so just let us know what you're up to.
Okay, I'm I've installed poultry equipment and chicken houses for about 20 years. And looking at opening a warehouse to work out of and retail sales. I've been working with John and Harry, and they recommended that I go forward with the rezoning from C1 to C2 for future use. Currently under C1, I'm started the project to just go forward on general hardware, but the poultry equipment sales would fall better under C2. So that's what my plans are.
All right. Any questions, gentlemen, at this time? Mr. Campbell? Okay, all right, Mr. Campbell, thank you. Okay, have a seat. Before I open the floor up, and for those who attend our meetings regularly, as you know, we have a certain format that we have to conduct these public hearings. But just a quick question before I get too far and ask for any comments. Mr. Sale or Mr. Melton, a question I have regarding the, we're going from a C1 to a C2. I'm just asking the question, this is not in any way saying I'm against the request, just a question I have is, do we, just looking ahead, are we setting a precedence perhaps going to a C2 on highway district, given that Doc Dorsey Road is not a primary artery? I'm just thinking out loud here.
I don't think so, Mr. Chairman. It's one lot over from Highway 115. It is not on a major artery, but C2 doesn't have to be on a major artery. That's one of the talks about that in the criteria, that it's typically on a major artery, but there's no criteria for it.
We do actually have a lot of C2 along 129. It's not actually on 129, but it's behind it. That is actually C2, so there's already that precedent. And if you're driving down 115, you can see his property very clearly from the road. So, but again, it's not a have to be, it's a and/or kind of thing.
Okay.
Any of those criteria can meet for C2, but the intensity of what he's trying to do really is what makes it go into C2.
Well, I'd rather have asked that question now than later down the road. We have another request that is truly in a residential area, trying to go C2, and it makes no sense.
Right.
That's, like I said, it's not that I'm against the request. I don't want that to be misconstrued. It's just a question. I'm trying to look a few years down the road for this would come up. So, okay.
Are the other lots around that, are they C1 or C2?
It's C1 on the north, east, and the west, and it's A1 on the south.
Yeah, C1 north, A1 south, C1 east, C1 west. And I understand why the C2, because of the retail kind of establishment idea.
And there's always the possibility that those lots around it could be in here asking for it at any time.
True. Very good point. That's why we have these conversations. So, got anything else? I'm going to move us forward on the public hearing side. Again, it's like a broken record. I'm going to open the floor up with anyone who would like to speak in support of the request. I'll issue 3 calls for that. And if you do have something, I'll raise your hand and I'll get to you as quickly as I can. Otherwise, after that 3rd call, I'll move on to anyone who were to have concerns or perhaps be in opposition of the request. I do understand that there were no comments from the planning commission meeting, so but I don't want to limit that here, but I'm aware of that. So here we go. We're officially we're in the public hearing section. If you'd like to make a comment in support of Mr. Campbell's request, raise your hand and I'll get to you. Just need your name and address. It's not necessarily anybody has to say anything. All right. I'll issue a 2nd call. All right. 3rd call. Going once, going twice. So, all right, Ms. Shanda, if you'll make note in the record that we did issue 3 our standard 3 calls, give anyone an opportunity to make any comments in support. At this time, I'll close the in support section, and I'll open up anyone with any concerns. Raise your hand. Same scenario. I sound like a broken record. All right. Second call. That's something we may start doing when we don't have any comments. I may be asking our Public Works Director, Mr. Ken Jimmy, to give us a joke for the day or something.
No joke.
No joke today? Okay, all right. All right, we're going on third call. No comments? Any concerns? All right. Ms. Shanda, if you'll mark the record that we gave 3 calls for the anyone who have any concerns regarding the request, and we had no takers on either one. So at this moment, gentlemen, do you have any additional questions or comments, concerns that you may have you'd like to ask at this time? All right. Public hearing section is now officially closed. We're going to move on to item 6 on our agenda. I'm going to restate it again for the record. Now, this is an actual consideration for the land use application filed by Mr. Campbell to Redistrict property located on Doc Dorsey Road from C1 to C2, business district, tax map, and parcel 065-097, total acreage of 1.50. Gentlemen, we are in a called meeting. We do have the option of approving Mr. Campbell's request this evening, or if you have any concerns, now's the time to voice that as well. So I'll just start out. Do I have a motion to approve Mr. Campbell's request as presented?
So moved.
Commissioner Hoffman first.
Second.
Commissioner Goodger second. All right, we're now in discussion with the board. Any comments for anyone? All right. Having none, I have a motion to approve the application filed by Mr. Campbell. Motion by Mr. Holcomb, second by Mr. Goodger. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Mr. Campbell, your request has been approved, and we appreciate it, and we appreciate you opening up a new business within White County. And
Yes, sir.
If our office can be of any help, it's small business that keeps our community running, humming, and if we can be of any help, please let us know. Our staff, we'll do our best to support you if at all possible.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
And thank you for the investment in our community too.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, moving on to item 7, presentation of request from Georgia Department of Natural Resources for the paving of a side road for access to the Helen to Hardman Heritage Trail. With us, and I have Mr. Will Wagner and Mr. Riley. Did we decide who's going to? Okay, Mr. Wagner, you have been ordained. We're not an ordination. I don't want y'all to take that the wrong way. Will, if you would, kind of, for those who don't know you, what you do for DNR and so on.
Great. Well, I appreciate your time, Chairman and Commissioners, and everybody in the room. My name is Will Wagner. I'm the General Manager at Smith-Call Woods and Hardman Farm Historic Site. I've been for nearly 2 years, a little over 2 years, and during that time, Hardman Farm has entered its 3rd year in operation. We're moving forward, trying to develop the site, develop the property to better serve the public, better serve the community. One of the things, the project that we've been working on this summer, for actually, as Mr. Riley will tell you, for 7, 8, 9 years really, but specifically this summer has been to construct the Helen to Hardman Heritage Trail. It's a 4,400-foot trail along the Chattahoochee River that connects the north side of Hardman Farm as a pedestrian walking and biking trail to the southeast corner of the city of Helen, right behind the Twin Lakes area. So we've been working on it thus far. The game plan has been to start from the middle and work our way out. That way we don't have to worry about as much folks trying to jump in and get on the trail while it's a construction site. There's big equipment, things moving on, so we try to be aware of public safety in that regard. It's been progressing quite well. We've been pouring as much concrete as possible until the concrete season is running to an end here. Also installing boardwalks along the way in the more sensitive areas, the wetland areas, some creek areas, things of that nature. Overlooks have been installed, boulder seating has been installed, some rock work has gone in recently. So the DNR's put a lot of work into that trail system. We've recently partnered with the city of Helen because the game plan is for this trail to be a connectivity trail, not just to connect Helen to Hardman, but also to connect the whole community. So we've been partnering recently with the city of Helen, who has agreed to take their existing pedestrian sidewalk system and construct a sidewalk from it along this unnamed road there on the 3 sheets that you'll see in front of you to the Helen to Hardman Trail. So that'll give you the opportunity to hike or bike from Unicoi State Park through downtown Helen, along the Helen to Hardman Heritage Trail, and directly into the Hardman Farm Historic Site itself, which also sets up the opportunity to eventually connect to Smith Gall Woods, to eventually connect to the Yonah Preserve, so forth and so on. Opportunities are endless if those were so foreseeked. So City of Helen has agreed to construct a sidewalk in there. More than likely, we're looking at a springtime pouring for that. As I just mentioned, the calendar is coming to an end as far as that type of construction goes. What we plan to do over the winter is build archways and construct maps and different types of stonework that will go in. The City of Helen has also agreed to light the northern end. The trail does hike north to south, so it'll have a trailhead at the already just recently constructed new Hardman Farm parking lot. There'll be a southern trailhead there. We are constructing a northern trailhead parking lot in Helen, which is the 3 maps you're looking at there, is that parking area. I apologize for the size of them. A little small, and I'll be glad to send you the file if anybody would like to look at it further in further detail. But so there'll also be lighting coming off of the Helen side and lighting that parking lot area. The trail will close at dark. We did hire on a new park ranger this year for Hardman that'll help patrol that trail. So we're really excited about the opportunity for it and the public safety concerns that we're already looking forward to addressing there. But like I said, Helen's tying into the south side, so what we'd like to request from White County today is the consideration of actually paving by asphalt that unnamed road that comes into that area. And not exactly, I can't remember the exact footage, I think it's about 100 yards along that unnamed road that comes off Edelweiss there and takes you to the brand new parking lot that'll be constructed. There'll be a parking lot there, as well as handicap accessibility, as well as a gazebo for picnicking and things of that nature on the northern end.
Any questions for Mr. Wagner at this moment? I've got one for Mr. Ken Jimmy, our Public Works Director, real quick. We'll hang tight. What was the, I know you guys received an estimate of 31, an estimate of 31-ish.
31,000, yes, sir.
It's a change.
It's a good estimate.
Okay. That estimate includes what kind of width on the asphalt?
18 feet.
Okay. And about 100 yards long, so 250 feet, 300
Yeah.
in length, give or take.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, and I see by the plat survey, we've got 40 foot, when I say we, technically the city of Helen has got 40 foot right of way. That's why I can tell by the plat, that's ring a bell, sounds about right.
All right.
I can barely read it, so that's why, even with my glasses on, I can barely read it. So, Mr. Wagner, what was the total project cost that the state's investing? It's about 1.2,
It's just over one.
over $1 million.
The other 0.2 is probably going to be spent on venue improvements at the actual Hardman Farm.
Okay.
But yes, it's a $1.2 million project specifically to have a little over $1 million spent on the trail itself.
Well, Jill, we haven't had many opportunities to partner with the city of Helen on any projects. So this is an opportunity, and with the amount of money that the state of Georgia has invested, I think it's a win-win. And without prolonging, you got a question we were asked, okay?
Dave, is that price gonna be good if we don't get paid till spring? Are they gonna, a certain time it's gotta be done? I mean, I'm trying to figure in case, their price will go to, just don't wanna cut ourselves short.
Yeah, asphalt prices are going up, it definitely won't be able to be done until springtime. That's a great question. It could go up a little bit. How would you say?
I figured it was,
Yeah, I
I
mean-
figured intensive, if you, a lot, say, say 35 or something, I'm just trying to.
Not to exceed.
Yeah.
What if, we had discussions today, because the city of Helen's already going to be constructing all these items. These are just conversations that I had with staff today, that I won't flippantly just say this, that we cut the check to the city of Helen, and they incorporate this, and we allocate up to $32,000, write the check to the city of Helen for the project, and it'll be up to them, but it's back on them.
That's fine.
Now, they get some-
But yeah, I just wanted to hold this out till spring, for rebid,
Well, I think they're going to get some things moving, so,
No problem there.
all right, well,
Motion to approve that, take it up to 32,000, like I said, take it out of that, some special hotel motel account.
Tourism and product
Yeah,
development.
there you go.
okay, all right. I have a motion, Commissioner Bryant, to,
I'll second.
okay, to, not cooperate, well, we are cooperating, but to, partner with the city of Helen on paving Twin Lakes Road, or unnamed road, I'm sorry, some of us will call it Twin Lakes Road, but whatever. Twin Lakes Road, unnamed road, up to $32,000 to be funded out of the product and tourism development, is that correct?
We just sent the check direct.
Send the check to the city of Helen. We have a motion, Commissioner Bryant, second, Commissioner Goodger, any discussion?
Got a question. Did we get this, we got the price on this, you did?
Yes.
And it was basing off?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question, make sure I didn't know what we put base under it.
How long is the piece of road?
It'll be 18 feet wide. Pavement's gonna be 18 feet wide. They've got 40-foot right-of-way, but the pavement will be 18 feet wide for two cars to pass relatively safely, like this way, opposite ways, east, west, south, north, whatever you call it. And 300 feet long. All right, any discussion with the board? All right, having it all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries. Mr. Wagner, we appreciate your and Mr. Riley's continued work on this project. And we're going to get into some other stuff in a little bit about some additional trails, and this is just another tremendous opportunity for our area. And we appreciate, Governor Deal's support. I mean, everybody, it has just been phenomenal, everything coming together. So, all right. Mr. Riley, you're going to say something.
Thank you.
I just always like to remind everybody, this is an economic development tool.
Yes.
And it benefits, thank you, it benefits the whole county. And I think it leads to some bigger and better things. This is gonna be the most beautiful trail you've ever seen, I promise.
All right, we're ready to walk on
And we appreciate your support, the county's support, everybody that's been a part of this. It's just been fabulous.
it. We again appreciate y'all's hard work. It's been, in the workings for a few years, coming together, and it's nice to see something actually, I call it boots on the ground. So, anyway.
You talking about this having, being unnamed roads. Is it going to receive a name because of To be at,
That'll be up to City of Helen.
It's in the city of Helen?
It is within the City of Helen. That's why we feel like it's best served with us to partner with them, send the funds to them. That way, it's within their municipality. We don't come in as we're the big brother telling them what to do. We're in this as a partnership.
I thought it was in the county.
No, it's actually in the city.
Okay, got it.
I don't understand
Recommendation
that. If it's in the city, then why does the county have jurisdiction over it?
Really, no.
Well, we don't. They've asked us to partner with
They
them.
just want money.
Yes.
County too,
Yeah, City of Helen is in the city, is in the county of White. Okay, all right, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 8.
Hey folks, Diane here. Just want to let you know of a special offer we're running beginning on Black Friday through Cyber Monday. We're offering all of our drawing DVDs, normally priced at $10.95. You can get them for $8.50 each. Wonderful stocking stuffer, or maybe an opportunity for you to get something special for yourself. So go to our website, DianeMize.com. In the menu section, click on the Cyber Monday, Black Friday sale, whatever it says there. You'll see it there in the menu on DianeMize.com. And buy yourself some drawing DVDs. And as I always say, keep in mind that your creativity is limited only by the limits you put on it yourself. Enjoy.
Sheriff Neil Walden to present a White County Courthouse security and entrance improvement renovation proposal, including immediate need for a walk-through metal detector. Sheriff Walden, we understand you had a breakdown.
Yeah.
No, excuse me, a breakdown. Okay, let's hold on.
We didn't have a breakout.
All right, we had something break at the courthouse. How about that? Let's rephrase that.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
Are we down to the last nerve yet?
Get in there. That's a quote on the magnetometer, the metal detector. Actually, we got two bids there. The one we recommend going with is a company out of Cartersville. So that would give us a shot at having somebody here broke with us. Maybe 3 hours versus 6 or 7 hours the other way.
For those in the audience, you're not seeing what we're seeing. The metal detector has been on its last legs at the courthouse, and deputies are now wanding.
I had folks take offense when you started rubbing that wand around on them. You know, I give them y'all's phone numbers when we have to do that.
We appreciate that. That's why I got
I'm gonna call you.
Everybody knows traffic number.
If not, I'll give it to you right quick here.
Okay, and for the record, this is a quote of $3,118.20 from,
That's install of training on it.
the name got cut off my,
It's ops, I believe.
oh, yeah, OPS International, okay. Well,
How soon can they do this, Neil?
As soon as we call them, is that right, Captain? They said they delivered.
Yes, sir, they have delivered within the week.
all right. Mr. Melton, recommendation of where to pull this out of? Contingency for now, and then we'll figure something out.
Contingency.
All right, gentlemen, this actually is a segue. We've got two matters. Of course, the pertinent, we need a new metal detector. Simple as that. So I'll do that. Segue into the sheriff's additional request on the redesign of the front. So let's take care of this one first.
Make a motion that we approve the bid for $3,118.20 to Ops International for our new metal detector.
You fund it out of contingency. Okay, Commissioner Bryant, second on that. All right, go ahead.
Which I know we're fixing to talk about it, but when we do the other stuff, if we get that far, this is all adaptable, slide over, I mean. everything.
Yeah, it's portable, you can put it wherever you want.
Okay.
Good. Good question, actually, good question. All right. Anything else? All right, closed discussion, all in favor of the approval, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed say no, motion carries. And to piggyback on Commissioner Bryant, as we talk to the next thing, we know that you'd had desire, Sheriff, about kind of remodeling the front of the courthouse for security purposes, as well as, you know, gentlemen, we go by it every day, and I know I do. I receive a lot of comments from the public regarding the access in the front. The access from the front of our courthouse is not very desirable. I'm trying to pick my words very carefully because we have the media here. But
It's a safety issue also, both ways, the front and the getting into the courthouse and trying to keep things out of the courthouse.
Well, it's also my understanding, and you know, we've heard various times over the last few years, we've heard comments from the court system that they're getting a little squeezed as well. You know,
Correct.
But the old DA's office, Dana's got that part of her setup now where you want to slide everything over, so I remember this right from a year or two ago.
Yeah, she's got the front up there, that record room will have to come out of there and go somewhere else. If they go
If they go
along
that
the
route, yeah.
design that we had discussed some time back here. And,
Well, what, are we looking at getting some plans for this, or are we looking at going, proceeding with this estimate?
well,
my suggestion would be, and that's not my forte, but we need somebody to go in there and look at what we got, and then they can better tell us what we need to change, and how we need to change it, and where we need to make that change to make everything flow and work right.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we engage an architect that is familiar with this type of buildings and let them go in and give us a preliminary design and some cost estimates on what needs to be done in there to come back, bring back to the board.
well, in that same vein, if we're going to have an architect look at the front entrance, I think it would be wise for us to, while they're doing that, you know, they're already in the architect phase, come up with some scenarios if we were to, you know, more than just put a fresh coat of paint on the exterior. I'm talking about
We ain't seen anything different, something.
I'm sorry, the exterior of our courthouse is ugly. I appreciate you not putting that quite so bluntly in the newspaper or the radio, but
But it's probably on radio.
yeah, but it really is. We're I know when I drive by and I'm getting a lot of comments that we're behind due to the age of our courthouse. I mean, it's built, what, 64, 65? So we're not
We're right
ballpark.
along in there, yeah.
64. See? I think it would behoove us to go ahead and have the architect bring us some scenarios on how to improve the exterior, bring it a little more contemporary. And also, you know, we're hearing the comments about space is getting a little tight. I think we're all aware that our judicial system, I mean, you see in our budgets, is growing. Would it be wise for us to look at the back, the old jail, and the sheriff and I had this conversation, perhaps in a scenario of building a two-story annex building in place of where the old jail's at, because all we use it now is practically storage. I'm just brainstorming here. This is for discussion.
You preaching to the choir, I've been talking about.
I think we all agree that we know we need more space, and we want to keep the safety as the utmost thing.
As a general rule, we've got, what, 4 to 5 courts running most times?
Correct.
And, you know, that's juvenile, your mental health court, and your superior courts, and magistrate court, and probate court, so.
And the way that old jail is built, they just think much way you can do anything with it. It's just, it needs to be tore down. We're already, the building's set.
I got sued over that old jail when I got elected sheriff, so it ain't fit for all of them.
There's enough room there.
Don't you quote me on that.
Now, if you quote me, you don't quote him.
I don't care, you want to quote me, quote me.
It's all public record.
Go ahead, Debbie, do some papers.
One of our problems is that old jail set so far back away from the courthouse till there's about probably 15, 18 feet of just wasted space there. We could say, go in the same footprint and come back to the building, and I just, I think it's something we need to look at. I don't think we can do it in this upcoming budget, but I think we need to start looking at what we can do.
But because of this project, this is truly a SPLOST project that we can incorporate into the next SPLOST. And by then we'll have the new jail paid off. Okay, and I think, I know my point of view is I'd rather get the new jail paid off before we start taking on such a project like that, but that's my thoughts.
Now, how many offices are in that building now? Just Ken? Stephen?
Yeah, just
He's
his.
on one, and the rest of it's just storage?
The rest of it's storage.
Yeah. Seemed like maybe probation, one of the probationers is using
They're using that little end building there.
office.
I guess the next question is there any asbestos issues in that building before?
I think so. I think,
It'll have to be
I don't know
abated
for
out.
sure, but I think so.
That's something that would have to be abated out, so.
Right.
Well, I know whatever you spend, it'd be cheaper than building a new courthouse.
Right.
Yes, some of us think we were not serving at that particular time, so that's
Sometimes we had to finish that even. How long has it been when we did that security upgrade? We put that in, was that 10, 12 years ago?
About 10. It's been about 12.
We've got some good service out of that equipment.
It's serviced its life out.
Well, why don't we do this to move us along? Mr. Melton, from comments here on the board, you're empowered to get search for an architect. Come up with some rough renderings for us to start taking a look at.
Okay.
You know, let's just be real. I know that Black Construction has done a lot of work in that building. They may have some old plans. I'm not setting no one up, I'm just stating the fact. I want to reach out to them because they've done our last couple of interior remodel projects.
Closed everything in.
Right. So I'm just thinking aloud here, trying to.
Is this only interior right now?
No, we're talking about exterior. Yeah, we're gonna leave the interior of the courthouse will probably stay the same. Could have done some work, we've done a lot of tile work, flooring.
Except for the entrance stuff that he.
Yeah,
security
excuse
stuff
me,
in
that
there.
part will, yes, that section, we're talking about remodeling that part. And then, of course, the entrance, except the steps, the sidewalk, potentially raising all that and refurbishing and remodeling the exterior, as well as, I guess, a third phase, Mr. Melton, would be the potential annex building behind the courthouse.
Well, if we're seriously thinking about tearing the old jail down and building an annex onto the back of the building, and anything that we look at on the outside of the existing building needs to be compatible with what we're thinking about in the future for the new building, because it will be one building then. So any kind of outside move that we need to do on the old building, we need to.
So we'd be changing the cosmetics of the whole building if we did that annex in addition.
Yeah.
But any exterior cosmetology that we do to it, the new building would need to reflect that same exterior look.
So, all right.
Yes, sir. We'll move forward on it.
Thank you, sir.
Sheriff, is that,
That'll work.
do you?
That'll work right now, yeah.
So this,
So you take back what you said?
That's all.
any work like that on the adding to the building or anything, that won't happen until like, we won't even look at bidding it until about 2020 when the new
Right, but we
start. But we'll have plans.
start looking at. But see, that's also something else that our staff's working on now. Next November, the next SPLOST is going to be up for vote. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Can I ask,
Yes, sir.
based on what Mr. Goodger said, does that include the front entrance there for my
No.
safety issue? Okay.
I'm just saying that anything you do on the back here, we're talking about something that might be $4 million, and that'll have to come out of a new SPLOST.
Right. Good deal.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff.
We talking like 2020 is a long way away.
2018 in 30 days. The time we vote on in next November, it's almost 2019. So
As fast as we are,
yes.
we might as well.
All right.
And then
No further
do
news.
about, then we'll have to do about this.
Okay. All right, let's go for this minute. Item 9, consider approval of a resolution for the Recreational Trails Program, RTP grant application for Phase 3 of the Yonah Preserve multi-use trails. Who's here for that conversation?
Mr. Ernst, I think, wants to address that.
Now, Chris is not around. For those who don't know, Chris was our GIS director for several years, so we can't aggravate him a whole lot, so we do what we can. Chris, I understand this is a new program, and instead of previously our Trail 1, Trail 2 were $100,000 grants. This is a new program that's up to $200,000, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. They modified the program, so the maximum bid request has been increased from $100,000 to $200,000.
Okay. I had asked our staff today and this question, and to no fault of no one, I think there's this is just us talking here. There's a communication gap. I believe when Mr. O'Brien left us, he walked out with some institutional knowledge. I would love for Mr. Sell, Mr. Melton, and yourself and some folks from SORPA to sit down. I had asked, where is Phase 3 or Trail 3 going to be located at? And none of our staff, and I'm not throwing one on the bus, could answer my question this morning. So I've got a, where on the map is Phase 3 going to go?
Can I
Come on down. We're not going to bite you yet.
Our Phase 1 is this area up in here. Phase 2 comes around through this area up here. And then Phase 3 is going to come up and connect Phase
Okay.
1 to Phase 2, and then we're probably going to do that small loop up this area.
Okay.
Through.
Come out above the bridge up here, above where the waterfalls are.
Chris, what's the plan down at the dam? What is the, how are you going to maneuver around the dam?
We're just, we have a trail that comes out at the base of the dam. We're just coming across right in front of that flat area in front of the
Is
spillway.
that going to have any kind of intrusion into that dam right now that we're under the new Safe Dams Act?
Right now, we're just talking about using that existing, there's kind of a 2-track for that kind of policy.
Yeah, that, my understanding that 2-track's not supposed to be there. That's just something that somebody just started driving up through there years ago. I don't think it was ever designed to be a road there.
Right.
And the reason I'm asking is because the water authority is responsible for the dam and the integrity of the dam, and anything that goes on that dam we have to notify the Safe Dams folks. I do an inspection there every 90 days. Engineers do an inspection every 24 months. And they just, that's just part of the new state law on the Safe Dams Act.
I don't know, we looked at that the last time, that they talked about dropping that trail down below the dam.
That's what I thought. That's what I remember them talking about, going below with maybe a wooden bridge or something across the creek down there to stay off of the dam. That was what I remembered us talking about. That was kind of where I was going.
See, this is where part of the
I was
the
going
gap
our
in
diplomatic, and
communication,
Terry
so-
just jumped right in. I was trying to go around the mountain and get there pretty easy, not upset anybody.
Like I said, water authority's carrying the insurance on that.
That's true.
So we're gonna have to go for authority on that too, get, if we go,
Because that is in our, right now, the liability on the dam, the insurance on the dam is being paid by White County Water Authority.
Well, we'd certainly be happy to meet with you guys.
I think we need to sit down and come up with something here that, see if we can't find something that'll work without going across the dam with, you know, we could go around it somehow or another. Or something that won't be intrusive to the integrity of that dam.
Why don't we do this? We got, because that's actually a segue into our next item, but simply what we're doing, and it's my fault for even getting us on that part. Mr. Belt, you need approval from the board to engage to apply for the grant in the first place.
That's correct.
Okay. And I think it's kind of common sense that we would want to apply for the grant.
I'll make the motion, we allow them to proceed with applying for the grant.
Okay, Commissioner
I
Goodrich.
second that.
Commissioner Nix, second. I want to get my notes here.
And if I'm not mistaken, what y'all had said previously was that the work that the county was doing as far as like the entrance building and the parking and that could possibly go toward the 20% match on this portion?
Yeah, I'm reaching out to the RTP folks to find out if that's possible and to what extent. I know that the road work itself won't be covered by that, by the matching portion of that grant, but if the county decides to put in the bathroom facility building, there is a possibility that we might be able to get that covered as part of the matching. But I do need to verify with the administrators of our RTP program to know for sure before we move forward with any of that.
So that building by itself should be the matching part of the grant.
Yeah, but generally you can't use that as a match until the grant's approved.
Oh, well, I know.
Their grant would have to be approved before we can start on our portion. Normally, that's the way it works with federal grants.
We can't, yeah.
Tell them we're looking ahead.
No, we're actually going to talk about trying to have something special out there at some point soon, so. Okay.
I think with if I can go back.
Well, let me get the motions done.
Okay.
Let me get this done, because that's why we're on this bank. All right, have a motion, Commissioner Goodrich, Commissioner Nix, second on approving staff to move forward on the application of a RTP grant up to $200,000. Any other discussion? All right, have done, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, say no. Motion carried. All right, Chris, go ahead with that.
Okay.
And this is going to go right in, folks. We're going to go into item 10 as well, which is discuss the Yonah Preserve multi-use trail project status updates, including trail entrance gate, trailhead road, parking improvements, trailhead building, and trail construction. Chris, go ahead.
If I can go back to the grant application possibility, excuse me. Is that
Need
better?
to speak a little louder.
Okay. If I can go back to the possibility of using the bathroom facility building as matching for the grant. They do write in the grant application paperwork that if a project is pre-approved, you have an 18-month window before the grant window starts, where upon approval by DNR, that they would allow that construction to happen. So basically, this grant wouldn't, if we were to receive the grant, it wouldn't, it would begin essentially January 1st of 2019, and we could go back 18 months from that point,
Okay.
if they approved it, and that would be covered as the matching. Like I said, I do need to verify with them that that is a project that they would consider using that 18-month window, because that isn't guaranteed, but they do have the language in the grant that way.
Okay. I'm on, while we're here, I don't want to assume anything, but Chris, do you know Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Have y'all been working together on this a little bit? If not, you need to.
Yeah, general conversation we had, and I'm more than willing to help in any way.
Okay, awesome. Well, so we got eyes and ears inside the agency. He has a lot of additional insight, so I'm just trying to help put everybody together.
Thank you.
Also understood that This, our project was looked on favorably already, so it's one of the top projects to look at to be funded, right? Was that, or what that was sort of, or?
Yes, we have been looked on favorably in a number of different ways. We actually got a $7,000 grant from REI. If you guys are familiar with that.
I buy stuff there.
Yeah, it's a nationwide outdoor apparel company, and we were selected as one of the grant recipients for the International Mountain Biking Association Dig-In program. So we'll be, that's currently underway. We don't know how much money we're going to receive out of that, but there is only a handful of projects throughout the United States that was selected for that project and that grant. So, you know, we certainly feel like we're moving in the right direction, and we're starting to get some not only local and regional recognition, but some national recognition also, which is really good for a trail system that hasn't even opened yet.
I think it would be good, Mr. Melton, would you, Mr. Sale, coordinate a meeting? You guys, along with Chris, Sorba folks, as well as Mr. Wagner, if y'all can include him as well. If your schedule will allow, I understand we've been pulled in lots of directions, but this is an opportunity to start getting everybody back in the same room so we can keep everything moving forward. If you can coordinate that over the next, couple of weeks or so, give or take, I'd appreciate that.
Chairman, if I may add one more note. To your original question about where Phase 3 is going to go, the Northeast Georgia Sorbo chapter is also looking at revising the master plan for the site, for the trail layout for the entire site. And so using our own funding, we're looking at hiring the International Mountain Bicycling Association to come in, put some boots on the ground and help us look at what we've done already and just re-verify the work that we're doing. So we want to have that done before the grant application is due. And so, I think this is all coming together well. We can meet with the county and get some input from the county, and then also, bring that to the International Mountain Bike Association as they reevaluate the master plan.
And one thing, and I've just heard some comments, and this is why we're all here having these meetings. All these plans will have to be brought back to this board for approval. So I want to reiterate that. And if you guys come together, that way we can help move this thing forward as quickly as possible. Because, Chris, we're all on the same team on this. And that, I was actually out there the last couple of weeks. I do want to give a shout out to the CERT team, the Chainsaw Brigade, and everyone who's had a hand. A couple of weeks ago, Commissioner Goodger out there and tried to traverse Trail 1. It's impossible. But I was out there very recently, and y'all done a great job. And if you'll share with the whole group, I really appreciate the work. It's now traversable. I hiked part of it just because I want to see myself before we start sending our citizens through here what we're doing and what's going on. But I did come up with a question: at what point, when are we going to have, when I say directional signs, like on Hub A? There's a little white piece of paper card with a magic marker on it. It's been weathered and what have you. At what point will we be having, I call, a true sign out there, as far as folks know where they are as a locator, to get their bearings? When will we start seeing those items out there?
They should be out within the month.
Okay.
We have the trail mile markers on orders. They should be coming in soon.
All right.
We're working with Mountain Country Signs to do the symbology on the markers, and then also Owens Welding, to my understanding, is building the trail pedestals at those intersections, and then we'll be installing those.
Great.
I will talk to the engineer that the water party has hired to do those inspections and see what he says about that.
Okay.
But that's not the number one issue. The number one issue, and Travis and I looked at this, is, and so is Craig, is there's some safety issues around that concrete structure there. That's got to be addressed before anybody can just pull out on that dam. I'm telling you, they wasn't really thinking out loud when they done some stuff out there. So
There's gonna be a chain link fence put
we're
around that
gonna have to do
structure.
something to keep them off of that dam, because that structure, the way it falls off the back of that dam with no way to keep nobody, they just got a cable across it now, and we've already saw some four-wheeler marks down below that cable, and I just wondering if the chairman done that.
I wouldn't be here if I don't went down that far.
I don't
wouldn't be
think he's
here.
got that much nerve, because the farther out you go down that spillway,
It
the
does
faster
that.
that thing drops off. And with an adult, it's fine, but with 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, teenagers, and young kids, there is a safety issue there. It's got to be addressed, and it sounds like it's gonna have to be addressed sooner instead of later.
Yeah.
So,
Chairman, I have one point to make about this third phase that they're talking about right there. We've talked about it before, and I don't know that we've ever done anything about it, but set some parameters around Appalachian Drug Task Force affair that, you know, that they won't be within some certain distance of that place. You know, for their security and everything.
Yeah, because we don't, and it goes both ways. We don't want the public getting off the trail, getting way off base and being up near the drug task force, nor do we want the drug task force inching their way into a public domain. So, and Mike, John, if you guys have these meetings, we need to start, you know, I don't know what the magic, if we go 200 yards away from the drug task force, 300 yards away, I don't know, and how do you create a barrier? Do you do like a chain link fence? I don't
Well,
know.
we've talked about that, and I've actually talked to Mitchell about that. And we'll continue to have those conversations and figure out what we can do to make them secure, feel secure, and to, you know, not intrude on them, and not intrude on us.
Because believe it or not, they had some Yahoo that was apparently high in the sky, walked through Yonah Preserve to the back door of the drug task force.
Well, he figured they had drugs. For every place
He was
goes.
using it as a shortcut to get somewhere to his supplier. I don't know the full details of the story. So they were able to arrest someone literally in their back door. Crazy. Only White County. I mean, walk through 1,000 acres and walk into the drug task force. I mean, I just, sorry. I probably shouldn't share that out loud either. But anyway, okay, I'm just trying to think. Guys, I don't know if y'all been hit up. I have, and I don't mean it hit up in a negative way, because I'm as excited as everybody else is, having been out there and see what's going on. You know, we're going to be bidding out, and Mr. Melton, you can bring us up to speed on the receiving building, the bathrooms. When will those bids be on the street?
I don't have a date certain on that, Mr. Chairman. John has given us some.
And they're due 1st of January or so. I know that, so we can vote on it by the.
Well, that's for the ball fields.
Okay.
Let me see if I've got his update.
That segues me into where I'm wanting to go. I know the middle and high school, or just the middle school that has a bike club now? No, that's the right word.
It's the middle and high school.
Middle and high
One
school.
team.
One team. You know, I know a lot of the parents have been donating their time on the trails, and you guys have to, I know. You know, we don't have the entrance ready, we don't have the road paved yet, but we're talking springtime having those buildings before they start the construction. I'm being real, I would love to have some type of, perhaps a Saturday, and I know we're coming into wintertime, say 4 to 6 hour window that we open up off Albert Reed, put gravel down, and we open it up to the public to come check it out. When we can get the signs out there, yeah, come check it out, and we got 50 people lost in the middle of nowhere. That would not be a good start.
Maybe get some 911 calls.
Yeah, but,
Mr. Chairman?
yes,
The last date that John gave me was 12/1
okay.
for Diddy.
Okay.
So I'll have to check with him and see exactly where we're at on those plans. The other plans that we had discussed on the ball fields was having those plans to the board by the January 29th.
Okay. Let me ask you guys a question, Chris and Mike. What? I'm being, take our titles out of the way here. I'm just going to be real. We want to do something to encourage the kids and the adults to some extent. They're excited. I'm excited. I've been out there. I've seen it. But at what point do they have? Do they bite January, February? You follow where, is there a season? And everything shuts down?
Depends on the weather.
Okay.
Obviously, if it's going to be raining, we're going to shut the trail down. That's my understanding, right?
Well,
we'll not shut it down, but we'll make recommendations whether or not it's rideable or not. That's what SORPA does. But to answer your question, it's a year-round sport. I mean, I just rode 25 miles this past weekend, and it was 40 degrees. So
I'm proud for you, son.
That's why you look like that and you look like that. No, sorry. Somebody's gonna say one day, you look like you used to work out. Sorry.
I'm still playing softball, you ain't doing.
I keep getting
One
hurt.
question right there about the, on your head right there, but has our insurance ever been done?
See, these are questions, this is where we're all going, where I'm trying to get us to. Shannon, for us to have a day, say a White County day out there, no, asphalt season's about to close, we won't be able to get the roads paved. Worst case scenario, we have gravel set out there on the road, and we open up 4 to 6 hours on a Saturday. But what if it snows? Where are we at on our insurance? What's it gonna take to get these things in place insurance-wise? Because right now, if somebody were to get hurt out there, we're not open to the public.
Right now, it's purely covered right now from a construction standpoint. And if something happened out there that was not related to the construction, that would not be covered. And the only conversations that I've had with our insurer is, they've told us how much it's gonna cost to cover and what we need to do that, but we need to just let them know when we're ready to do that. And that's what they're waiting on from us, is just to hear when we've gone from construction to open to the public. They did recommend that we get someone from LGRMS to come up and evaluate, make sure that they didn't have any safety concerns. It wasn't required, but they recommended that. But that would be just before we open to the public.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did you not tell us that if we charge versus we don't charge, you got 2 different prices?
Yes, if you charge, there's a recreational act that the legislature passed many years ago that protected counties from liability if someone was hurt during a recreational activity, when recreation became very common for counties to be involved in. That you're not covered under that recreational act if you charge a fee for admittance, an entrance fee. So that's a whole nother level of liability if you charge a fee.
See, and we've had conversations where, like, our plans like White County citizens, come up and they show their driver's license. We either don't charge them charge them a very nominal access fee. I'm just making that figure up. To help cover some of the cost that's gonna be going on out there. But out-of-towners, I'm not trying to discriminate against anybody, but you do this, you go to other states, you pay a fee. I'm just gonna say $5 per car. I don't know. I know we go to a state park, get a little green ticket sometimes. How do we work around that? I mean,
I guess the basic gist of that legislation and those protections are that when you pay a fee to get in somewhere, that you've got a whole nother level of expectation of safety and liability, whereas if you go in and you have not, paid a gate fee or something like that, you fall under those protections. But I don't know if you're gonna do something like that, you're gonna have to fund somebody to be out there to do that, which is an expense. I don't know if you would end up making enough to make that a worthwhile thing or not.
8 to 6, 7 days a week. Close the door. You just can't just have open range. That's what some of the questions have been asked to me, out and about, which I told them, hey, we're still talking, so,
All counties got some parks that they close at doors and there's no fee to, it's like Laurel Park, there's no fee to go in Laurel Park, and there's walking trails and pavilions and
if it's the
playground.
extent of what we're gonna have, though, you got somebody that's hanging out.
Well, that's a good place at Laurel Park, is
I
behind
think
there.
at Unicoi, your mountain bike there on that trail, there's no fee.
There is the parking
There
fee.
There's a
That's
parking
because it's a
fee.
state park.
Yeah, it's a state park. I don't know well yet.
That's because it's a state park, so there's a state parking fee.
My goodness, nothing simple.
Well, just remember that the insurance that the water authority's got on that dam is just in case it breaks and washes something away. It doesn't have anything to do with any of the rest of it.
Well, why don't we try to get a couple of different prices so that we can look at and see what in the world we're talking about and real numbers there.
All right, Jackrabbit, do they charge for that?
No.
Well, I thought you was calling somebody.
Is there a parking fee?
A lot of Forest Service trails are basically not maintained at all by the Forest Service.
Okay.
They build them, they almost walk away, they send a ranger there very periodically, more for safety. It's almost all voluntary maintained. And a lot of Forest Service, you can go hike the Appalachian Trail today here in White County and not pay for a parking fee at all. State parks, on the other hand, are much more maintained than Forest Service, so we do charge that $5 maintenance fee, $5 parking fee, and all Park Pass funds are actually earmarked for maintenance only. None of that goes towards anything except the upkeep of the properties. Something to consider, but
I think what Shannon's talking about is, as a government, we're covered under what's called sovereign immunity. But if you charge for something, if you start charging for something, then that limits some of your sovereign immunity because you're charging equal. But as far as insuring it, I think we just pick up the phone and call ACCG and they can institute our start our insurance.
And based on everything we've disclosed to them that we're gonna be doing out there, and also it was a non-fee, that's what we had presented to them initially. The charge to insure it was not, it was nominal.
Yeah, it's a nominal fee.
It was not
I
very much.
think the bigger question is, Mr. Chairman, if you want to have some sort of event or something out there, the bigger thing is getting that road in a gravel state and that parking in a gravel state is going to be our biggest challenge between now and whatever time you decide to do that. Because I know Dave has a lot of he's got a few other things on his plate, but
Guys,
we can certainly work towards a date if there's a date that you want to set to do that.
This is a bad time of year to be planning a grand opening on something like that.
I want to talk about grand opening. This would be just like a White County Day. The grand opening would to be like April, May, or something like that.
Can I ask, what would the day, I mean, what is your vision of that day? What do you want to do?
I'd like to see the kids have an opportunity, to, honestly, to get out there, the biking club, and anybody else, to get out there and bike it, and wants to hike it for a few hours, give them some exposure, kind of give them a little taste in their mouth. We're getting close, you know, in just a couple of months, we hope to have this thing open. I'll be real with you, I have been contacted by several parents, and they're eager, and I don't blame, I'm with them. But you see our dilemma here.
Sure.
How can we put it all together? And it's almost
30 more days.
Well, you know, they're looking to us because they know the ultimate decision belongs to this board.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Dave said he's pretty confident he can have that in a gravel state, in a good gravel state by the 1st of March. I know that's 3 months away, but
What state is it in right now? What state is it in? I haven't been out there lately.
Yeah,
It's rough, I mean, it's rough for kids to ride a bicycle. I
oh,
mean,
no, I mean, no, these are,
There's gotta be some work done out there to put you, before you put kids out there, right?
that's somebody done been riding on it.
I don't, y'all are talking about the road going in and the
That's kind of stuff
parking.
that makes people mad.
These kids ride those trails all the time.
Yeah, we're talking about the road going into.
Well,
yeah, we're talking about the road going in and the parking lot.
The parking lot's rough. I mean, it's not pretty. We all know that. I mean, if you,
He can finish a base, you're talking about kind of putting a base down, huh?
by March.
I'll tell you that the parking lot, the parking lot at Jackrabbit is gravel. It's not paved.
And if, guys, if you are fine with March 1, but I just didn't want to wait that long. And I want you to hear our heart when you talk, you know, with the kids, your SOBR membership. There's so many dynamics here we're trying to put together. This is a huge project for Little White County. But if we can when we get it done, the sky is the limit. I mean, I feel like we're going to be the Jackrabbit in Northeast Georgia.
We'll be better than that.
Okay, see? All right.
Except for 100 million, we could spend
Yeah.
110s.
March.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be here before you know it, guys. We just know what.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should go ahead with the meeting with Sorban, and part of that, put together a marketing plan of how are we actually gonna roll this out? Will there be a White County Day? Will there be a Sorban Day? Will there be other opportunities so we can maximize the effect both for our local community and also as a regional attraction for an economic development driver like we talked about for heads and beds and that kind of thing, to make this a big deal. And I think we need to come up with a plan that we bring back to the board so you guys can actually look at some options of how are we gonna market this and when do we roll this thing out? We're looking at a March 1st deadline.
But no disrespect, Sorber's been great and done a lot of stuff, but I don't think we're going to have to combine all this together. Like, we can't do just one entity without.
Do them all.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
There's a saying that goes with it, guys.
Not trying to throw a curve, I'm just.
And that's fine, we can put together, but I think you need some kind of a marketing plan.
Yeah, I understand, that's
How
what
we're gonna
All right.
pull this out, work forward,
All right.
so that we can maximize.
Well, we roughly spoke about March 1. All right, let's do this, or thereabouts. Will you guys meet, and ladies, over the next few weeks? And it may take 2 or 3 meetings. I mean, it's not gonna happen, this is monumental. In the meantime, we're also trying to balance out a new baseball, softball complex coming in on the other side. That's, looking around $5 million. So, all this is happening at the same time with a part-time board. So, you follow where I'm going there, and I hope y'all hear our heart. We want to do this right. All right, can y'all do that?
Yes, sir.
And let's come back and they'll give us, and if you'll go back to your group, and the kids in particular, I know, I had a kid the other day, just let me come out there and buy. Dude, it's not quite that simple.
Right.
That they don't, you hear the dynamics, you hear the semantics we're having to work through here. This is bigger than just go hop on your bike and run out there. The foundation's got to be laid correctly. So, would y'all do that, please?
Absolutely.
With all, I would appreciate it. And if you guys meet, you give me your charge, and if you need any information, follow up with us, let us know. And, try to have us a plan.
Just don't plan on ever riding no bicycle. I rode one when I was a kid all over.
You think you can have some rough, Christmas is here, you might as well say we're gonna lose 2 weeks of Christmas. Let's just be real. Middle of January? So,
Don't nobody give me no
All right.
bicycle for Christmas.
okay. Thank you, John, any great ideas, that's why we hired you.
Okay,
No pressure.
I gotta run up to planning.
Go, we understand that, we're aware of that.
Going forward,
All right.
And if I could just add real quick that the board has been awesome to work with, all the county staff has been awesome to work with, Mike especially, and John has been great, and David Murphy with the EMA, working with the CERT guys. Everyone has been excellent to work with, and we certainly appreciate it.
Well, it's, and this next meeting you guys have with all the groups coming together, and I mean, even discuss the fencing around the spillway at the dam. That's got to be addressed. So
We'll
all these
we'll address all those issues, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you. We're excited. I mean, I thought we just got, the atmosphere just came down because there's it's so big, but let's do it right. And anyway, all right. Okay. Is there anybody else that's got to leave? Everybody, you got it. I'm going to change the agenda around, item 13. Because of new state law, this is considered the proposal from ACCG-IRMA in order to meet the requirement of Georgia Firefighters Cancer Benefit Program by January 1st, 2018. New state law that was signed into effect, May or so of this year.
Yes.
Shall I give a brief synopsis, and we've got to have this added through our insurance carrier by January 1.
Yep.
So,
This past legislative session, the legislature passed a law that cities and counties now have to provide a cancer benefit program for volunteer and paid firefighters. We didn't know what that was going to look like for a long time because a lot of our guys work for multiple departments, volunteers, all that. But since then, all that kind of has gotten sorted out. ACCG, who provides our workers' comp and property liability insurance, has provided a proposal for this benefit to us. There's two parts to it. There's a lump sum cancer benefit and a long-term disability income replacement benefit. You're required to have both in order to meet the requirement. So ACCG has provided an estimate of $8,042 to cover this. They do a great job with our other insurances. This would cover 16 paid firefighters and 51 volunteer firefighters. There is a roster system that the state has developed which makes sure that a firefighter, that only one entity is paying for a firefighter, defines who pays for them. They can elect to take this coverage with them when they leave employment if they pay for it. So, but this would be just another benefit coverage that we'll be administering.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure, you can.
I've had several meetings concerning this all over. I was in one in Luncheon last week and it's come up. Is this cancer that, is it, I don't know how to say this, is it cancer that's just from firefighting exposure?
Supposed to be.
There is no differentiation. If a firefighter has a cancer claim, it will go through this.
Regardless of
because
whether he was
the-
exposed to anything
Right.
or.
The thought,
That's-
You can't prove it.
The thought
That's
of
been
the
the question
legis-
all along, and then the question come up, well, what if somebody come up and said they caught cancer by far and they wasn't wearing the proper safety equipment? So, I mean, they just been all kinds of stuff.
There's no way to if you got cancer, there's no way to determine where you got it from.
That's true. And that's, and I believe that, and that's why, that's what I've been saying at the meeting, how you gonna differentiate where a guy got it at? You might have been, for all you know, he was born with it, it's been
But
in
if
his mind his life.
you're a volunteer, or if you're a fireman, full-time or volunteer, you're covered under this program.
So in other words, it's just a cancer, it's basically a cancer supplement policy.
Yeah, it's, if anybody has a policy like Aflac or some type of cancer policy, it's not anything that would cover a medical claim. It's a cash payment to the one who's been diagnosed based upon the requirements of that. But they're just, the basis is that they're in a increased risk because of occupational exposure. So the firefighters at the state level lobbied for this, and the legislature passed it, and now we're following through with meeting that requirement. And we will have a meeting with the firefighters and explain the coverage and what they need to do if they have a claim and that kind of thing. So it's going to be new for all of us. We did budget this, so it's not anything above and beyond what we budgeted.
Well, that's what I say, it's 8,000, what, 6 months for this next year's budget?
No, this is for a year.
It's for a year.
And I think we budgeted, what, 50,000?
15,000.
No.
No, we budgeted 25,000.
We budgeted 25, not having a clue what it was going to be.
Well, ACCG had provided us, just in, all the counties were doing their budgets and they provided a per firefighter estimate, but as everything shook out, I think they overestimated what it was gonna cost. But we'll see, first year of everything is cheaper.
Guys, I'll keep it short, sweet, and simple, it's state law.
Oh, I know.
What's your favorite?
I know what's best for us.
Motion approved with one.
I know.
Commissioner Goodger, Commissioner Nix first?
Yeah.
I see you saying Commissioner Goodger on everything. I'm sorry, I did.
That's fine.
Commissioner Nix first,
All right,
Commissioner
what we
Wright,
gotta
is
do,
that
we
a second?
There is a difference between over and I am.
Yep. Was that a second, Commissioner Wright?
No, Terry did.
Goodness.
I'm voting against it.
Somebody, Terry, did you say?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Commissioner Goodger second. I think we're on the downside here, guys. Any other discussion? Having none in favor of instituting the cancer benefit program through ACCG-IRMA firefighters program, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. And folks, hear our heart here. This is not. We're going to do everything we can to protect our firefighters. That is not what. It's just the law has some caveats. I understand. I think we do. We understand their reasoning for it, but how do you prove it? I don't know how else to say it. All right. Is there anyone else who's got to slip out? All right.
My supper getting go.
Item 11, receive an update on the SPLOST road improvement projects. Dave has a handout for us. Give us an update.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please don't be alarmed on all this information. I'll sum it up for you.
We had asked last meeting to bring us an update where we are on road projects, bids, and what have you. So a lot of this is information that we'll have to digest. We are going to have a regular meeting on December the 11th. So as you go through this,
Okay, I'm currently, staff and I are working on bids that were approved from the last meeting. And that's including Henry Nix, AC Dorsey, FM, Mossy Creek Church, Dandy Lane, Claude Sims, Bonnie Pearl, Hawthorne, Cedar Hollow, Saute Woods, and Old Blue Creek. Sam Craven and Joe Franklin will be discussed on the December 11th called meeting. And if all goes well, we should have bids in by the end of January.
while you're looking, and Ms. Mike, Dave, those items we're going to vote on December 11th to award those low bids one to Nelson Grady, the other to Crumbly Creek. I know you guys were working on a potential time frame caveat for these prep projects. Have you been able to make any progress on that yet? Or you'll have that by December?
We'll have that on December 11th.
Okay.
I see the changes. Has asphalt, price of asphalt increased?
Yes, sir. Yes, those
I would have
are,
thought it would come down with gas coming back down.
those are really good prices. I was able to give you the actual increase, and, you know, that can be discussed on the December 11th also, if you'd like.
Oh, does it tell on here how long these roads are?
Yes,
Length right here.
right in the middle, sir.
Beside District.
Okay, how long is Joe Franklin?
That was, Joe Franklin and Sam Craven were previously bid roads.
Okay, so we don't know how long they were now.
No, we don't have that on this particular spreadsheet. We can get that for you.
You'll incorporate that, email it to us, and then highlight.
I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. I've been in construction business all my life, that's about all I know. But I'm trying to come up with an idea how much a foot this paving's costing us. And that way we can compare one road to the other, and if it starts getting off kilter, then my next question gonna be why? I mean,
We can do
we
that.
put a certain amount
And
of
we
base
do
on
that.
it, we know what the asphalt cost is, so we can calculate how much that road costs a foot, and then we can go back and look at the contract for its changes and whatever, and we'll sort of get an idea of the next road, well, we got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, we routinely do that. We look at that, those numbers.
And
I mean, I know that Joe Franklin, that's in your district, how long is that road, Craig?
Joe Franklin is,
Goes all the way back here to the.
Is it a mile?
half a mile, point 54, I do have that information, point 54.
Same
and-
kind
and
of what,
six.
1.1?
So now here's my question. We got a half a mile, we've had an increase of $6,700 onto that 6,500, so we are now at over $70,000 for a half a mile, and we're 31,000 for 300 feet. You see what I'm getting at?
Sam Craven is 1.42 mile.
You know, we got in the same thing when we started looking at Mill Creek. You know, we was talking about what it's gonna cost to pave Mill Creek, and it didn't pan out with some of the other roads that we've been researching. I'm just trying to make a dollar go as far as we can.
Well, some of that's gonna be mobilization,
I understand, yeah.
especially on these smaller roads.
All right. Well, let's look through this, guys, and be prepared December 11th. We'll be looking at Sam Craven and Joe Franklin on awarding those preps, affording them. And staff will have to us caveats as far as time frames, weather days, what have you, so that what should take 90 days don't take 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I talked to one of the contractors, and he could probably start immediately on one of them. So that's gonna help out immensely.
They've already started on one, because I sent a meter for them this morning for some more.
And Sam Craven is 1.42 miles. Yes,
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Dave? Time to move us along here. All right. Dave, thank you.
Okay.
Item 12, in your packets, we had asked the staff to bring us information regarding the current fee structures of the development of community development. In particular, what prompted it was our land use / zoning. We had not been charging any fees, and we're about the only municipality in Northeast Georgia that doesn't charge anything at all for our staff's time for this process. It's a lot of information to digest, guys. We have staff proposals, but it's proposal only. I'd like for us to take time to review this over the next couple of weeks as we come back on December the 11th and discuss it further and/or ask for what the desire of the board is on some of these matters. You guys fine with that? If you have any questions, please be in contact with staff in the coming weeks. Also in your packet, it does have a comparison to what other municipalities and counties are charging for the same similar services that we're providing, and some things we're not charging at all. And look it over, and we'll come back on December the 11th and look at the money. All right. All right. At this time,
that one on Luncheon County, 50% increase proposed in January. Are the numbers we have down there with the increase or not?
No. So those are the current numbers.
Okay. Just wanted to look at it.
That's Stanley Nix Road? That's what he's talking about on Luncheon County?
no, we're on, he's on Peace Road.
I know Luncheon County is, well, I thought some of their fees or, have you looked at their fees?
No, just early today when I first saw a copy of this. All right, for the first time, item 14, Ms. Jody Layton, Finance Director,
Oh, about 13.
to present the monthly financial status report.
And I'll do this without the presentation because I'm not sure about Shannon's computer.
Let's see if I can.
Okay.
What a way to start.
I'm telling you. She just left me hanging.
Okay, no pressure. Well, while they're trying to pull these items up, for those who are familiar, the county starts real heavily in October and November. We start receiving our funds that we fund the county. We're heavy with property tax in October and November. So if you guys are ready.
Look at that, jack of all trades.
Right.
That was luck.
And Ms. Jody, move along fairly quickly if you'd like.
Absolutely. Okay, this will be the financial report for October 2017.
Nope, I'm going too fast.
The revenues for the month of October were $2.89 million. Included in that was the insurance premium tax that we received, and it was at $1.38 million, and that's $92,000 over what was budgeted for that amount.
Finally, we took in more money than we spent.
And expenditures for the month was $1.281 million. And of course, you can see at the bottom how the percentages were affected. I can let you know that Tax Commissioner Cindy Cannon sent us a check mid-November for $4.4 million. So you'll see that increase greatly on next month's presentation.
Folks, that's what point I was trying to make. That's where we get our property taxes in. So you'll see the revenues outpace the expenditures in next month's report.
On the next slide are the alcohol-related taxes and fees. This has not changed a lot since last month. If I understand correctly, the alcohol licenses were due on November the 15th, so we should see a change in these numbers on next month's presentation. The TABIT tax for the month of October was $71,896, so that puts us at a yearly total of $281,000. And here's the chart that shows the comparisons. And you can see how those are increasing. Next slide is just a comparison of the SPLOST and the TABIT. For the lost for the month of October, it was $231,679. SPLOST was $286,742. And the next slide is just a comparison of the past years. And again, the loss for the month of October was $231,679. Next slide is the hotel motel tax. For the month of October, we received $80,606. That puts the yearly total at $340,644. And our October SPLOST number, as you can see, the whole receipt was $386,133. You have your city's portion, and then the county's portion was $286,742. We checked before the meeting to see if the November figures were in, and they are not in yet. So hopefully we can get that to you later this week.
Be your first full month, we won't see 400, okay?
I'll try harder. And so, of course, the next slide shows you what we have received from the 2014 SPLOST thus far.
Next month will be, just a note, next month we'll be halfway through the SPLOST. This is the 35th month. So we'll be at a halfway point next month.
And this slide represents the breakdown of the SPLOST and the admin fee, the total amounts that went to City of Cleveland and City of Helen, and what the county was able to keep for the project fund, which was $182,881. And the next slide is just on our separate funds. Shows the percentages that have been spent for each fund and the revenues that came in year to date.
All right, any questions, Ms. Jody? Jody, thank you. You can take a deep breath now.
Yeah. So
And Miss Dickey's out there just smiling away.
I have a good teacher.
All right. Okay. Mr. Belton, comments for the good, anything we need to go over that you have, what they have to make?
I have one item, Mr. Chairman. The chamber, Beth is here, if you have any specific questions, is applying for a grant for a app, I believe.
This will be the printed portion.
Oh,
of
this
the
is just
passport.
the printed portion? Okay, for a passport program, and they need, they need the county's signature on that to apply, to be able to apply for that. So if the county is willing to do that, they're going to apply through the Georgia Tourism Product Development Team Program, and I have all the information here if you have any questions about it.
And the grants are how much?
The grants are $5,000.
And all we're acting as a conduit?
We're just acting as a conduit, Mr. Chairman. There's no out-of-pocket expense for the county, and they'll produce a passport. The people go around, and when they come to the county, they'll get a passport and they'll get it stamped at various locations throughout the county.
What will the folks get when they do the passport? What will they get at the end of the day?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ultimate goal is that we create either an extended length of stay for those people that are coming anyway, or a new reason to come, or an additional stay at another time. So our goal is to have all of the unique outdoor adventures that we have, over 30 different opportunities for outdoor adventure in White County, and we want to make sure we're communicating that to them all the time. Ultimately, that will serve as increased revenues in your hotel motel tax and your sales tax receipts as well. So that's our goal. This is a sister portion to the mobile app that you helped us work with Georgia Mountain Regional Commission and ARC grant for the mobile app.
And I failed to mention, Mr. Chairman, this is due on the 7th of December. That's where we're bringing it to you for the last one.
Those guys are just the conduit. So Motion approved.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Nix first, Mr. Wright second. Any discussion? All right, having none, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries. Anything else, Mr. Melton?
No, sir, I don't have anything unless the board has any questions.
I think everybody still got,
My belly outweighs my.
I think everybody's still hung over from Thanksgiving. Belly, that is. All right. Other announcements. We are going to have a brief call meeting on Thursday morning, December the 7th at 8 a.m. Prior to our employee Christmas luncheon that will be held. And there will be, of course, there'll be a majority will be at that meeting. I'll say that loud for the record. That starts at 11:30 a.m. I believe it's not on the list here, but I believe it's 11:30 a.m.
You be there?
I'm probably gonna miss it this time.
Okay.
So that got moved into my vacation time.
Just curious.
All right. Then Monday, December 11th, we will be having two events. First of all, we'll be celebrating at 3:30 Miss Bonnie York's retirement, who's been a force at the senior center. Everybody's smiling who knows her. And I always refer to senior center as a ministry because it really has, it helps a lot of families who are taking care of their older loved ones. And Miss Bonnie and her crew provide an outlet and folks to be able to feel loved, provide meals, as well as activities. So we're celebrating her retirement.
And if you think she don't do nothing up there, just go up there and look at her numbers, just how many people come through that building, how many people she feeds.
Phenomenal.
And it's just incredible what a job she has done.
That's still coming in. I was asking about the parking lot. I know we've got emails talking about it. Well, we had the senior center on mine that just crossed.
Did you go to the Hardman
Yes, let me finish this last announcement, and I'm gonna get Mike to share with everyone her name. Monday, December 11th, we'll be having a called meeting. We've got kind of a crazy, it'll be at 4:30 p.m. We've got a crazy meeting schedule for the month of December because it's Christmas, and essentially nowadays, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but right around Christmas, you don't get any, that's not good grammar, don't get mad at me, Miss Judy, but you don't get any work done hardly anymore. So we're trying to arrange our schedule so we're still keeping the county moving, accomplishing projects and getting things done, all while being respectful of everyone's time off too. Mike, will you share aloud our new, she's not here because she doesn't start with us, but our new senior center director, her name, and she'll be starting Monday.
Barbara Prevost. She'll be starting December the 4th.
All right. And she comes to us from
She's coming from the Haversham County Senior Center, and she's done work extensively with seniors. Excuse me.
Ms. Barbara's also, she's a citizen of White County. She lives up just north of Helen up Myra Branch, correct? I'm not going to share with her personal address, I'm not going to do that, but
What was it? The spelling of the last name?
Provst.
Okay.
Please tell me I'm right. Anybody else? I think there's a cold, cough, something going around.
Sorry.
No, it's not you. No, I've sat here and it's doing this. It starts in waves. Anyway, yeah. Real quick before we move on,
Prevost.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Prevost.
PRE.
PRE.
Prevost.
Gotcha.
I got through the whole meeting.
Yeah, because we started asking two questions. Mr. Melton, on the senior center parking lot project, and the redesign of the board desires to move forward on that.
You want me to bring that back to you on the 11th and let you vote on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Folks, and I'm sorry we ran over, and I know I told you I'd be trying to move this along because there's several things going on this evening. But thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Bryant first, Commissioner Nick second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.